Welcome to Once Upon a Real Life with Belle. This podcast is proudly supported by our friends at ActiveFlex, the Australian family-owned and manufactured gel designed for long-lasting relief of sore muscles and joints. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a comment so you never miss an episode and can join in the conversation. This episode comes with a trigger warning. It contains discussions of childhood trauma, suicide, and experiences within the child protection system. Listener discretion is advised. Today, my guest is Tanisha, a brave young woman sharing her story publicly for the very first time. Raised in care of the state alongside her younger siblings, Tanisha's childhood was marked by instability, resilience, and loss. At just 13 years old, her younger brother lost his life while living in care, a moment that forever changed her world. Now, Tanisha is the carer for her youngest brother, determined to rewrite their family story with love, safety, and hope. In this conversation, she opens up about what it is really like growing up in care, the cracks in the system, and the strength it takes to not only survive, but to build a life filled with purpose and healing. Welcome, Tanisha. I've got goosebumps even reading that, and I wrote it myself.
Yeah, that was wow.
Yeah, you've lived a life, girl, and you're 24.
Yep.
So tell me, let's start with, we'll just go easy. Tell me a little bit about you, your life. Where were you born? You don't have to use names if you don't want, and you don't have to speak to what you don't want to, okay? So tell me about your childhood, Tanisha.
I was born in Crystal Brook. I was born with a heart defect, and it's not quite clear how I got that. From the moment I was born, I was rushed around hospitals to hospitals, flown from Adelaide straight to Melbourne within the first 24 hours of my birth, undergoing major heart surgery, which has affected me, will affect me forever. So that's scary. To my knowledge, 3 years old was when I was removed from both my mum and dad, alongside 3 older brothers and 2 younger siblings, my sister and my brother. So I think it was 5 or 6 of us that were removed at a time. Initially, we were all split up, and this is just going back to as far as I can really remember. Yeah.
Do you have any memories of living with mum and dad?
Not when we were living with mum and dad, but more like when we were allowed access.
Yeah.
Because access was given to us when we were younger, where we could go and have a day with mum or dad. But it was supervised a lot of the time. And then there were a couple of times where I remember being allowed at dad's house unsupervised, I think.
Mm. And so you have no memory of removal?
No, I was 3. Don't really remember, but I have been told kind of what happened on the day that we were actually taken.
So when you were removed, where did you go, and did you have any siblings at all with you?
To my knowledge, no. I was removed and separated. I think we all were to begin with. From what I know, my oldest brother, he kept running away. He kept running away from everywhere they tried to put him, back to mum, and he would track her down and just go back. And they ended up just giving up on him and letting him stay.
How old was he?
4, 5, he would have been about 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was running away and running straight back to mum at 7.
Yeah.
That's the connection children have with their family.
Yeah. Because it's hard, because I've got a relationship with mum now and kind of my dad. And I understand why I was taken, but, they never stopped loving. They made bad decisions, but they never stopped loving.
Yep.
And to be honest, I would have rather been in that broken home, still getting that love from my mum, than the system that I grew up in.
Yeah. So was your experience as a little one in care? Do you have memories of that?
Yeah, I do. And they're not nice at all.
So what age are we talking?
I remember my first lot of carers from probably age 4, 5, 6. Yeah, one of my carers who I've honestly forgotten the name of. I just know it was a woman. Not quite sure where she lived, but she wasn't abusive or anything. But she eventually had my one of my brothers come into her care very briefly, and because of the space in her house, my bed got moved to the laundry. So that was really scary. Being a child, barely in school, having just a mattress on the laundry floor as a bed. So that's probably the earliest mistreatment that I remember.
Um, y- So your brother had your bedroom?
Yeah, so at the time she had me and another boy in her care, and then my brother came along and she moved me out and let the boys have the bedroom. So it was just like a tiny little room with two single beds beside each other and just a little bedside table in the middle of them both. And then she got my brother, and I was on a mattress in the laundry. And it's possible that that's where my fear of toilets have come from.
Was there a toilet in
Yeah.
the laundry?
Yeah, I've never been able to really pinpoint where that fear has come from, but my whole life I have been terrified, still to this day, of unfamiliar toilets.
I
And it could be why.
not doubt that that is the reason why. Those early memories inherently get in us, and that's probably the trigger for you.
Yeah.
So do you remember how that placement broke down?
No, I don't. I was just taken to a different carer after some time. Um,
Still in the laundry? So the laundry was a long-term thing for that carer?
uh, I can't remember how long I was there for in that placement. I think someone found out or realised, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to say so.
And then where did you move to?
I went to another carer. This carer was okay, not quite the best in some ways. Yeah, I guess she was really strange, but I was there for maybe a year or two.
And how does strange look to a 4 or 5-year-old, 6-year-old?
Well, her husband slept out in the shed, which I found odd.
Mm.
She also had another foster girl in her care who she spoilt to bits.
So she spoiled the other girl, but not yourself?
Yeah, she got a lot more over what I got.
Are we talking attention, food, toys?
Really, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so how did that placement break down? Do you remember?
I was told that I was having a holiday with another carer and spent 5 days there. And on the 5th day, was told I'm living there.
Yeah.
I was 6 at the time because I had my 7th birthday with the new carer.
And was the new carer good?
No, this is the carer that I spent 8 years with. Not good.
In what way?
She was very abusive in a lot of ways. Verbally and physically. Yeah. Yeah. Very physically harmful. She would do all sorts. It was very scary living with her. Very scary. The only freedom I felt like I had was at school.
Do you feel comfortable enough sharing what she did?
Yeah, I'm okay. I've gotten to the point where I've forgiven, but doesn't mean I'll ever forget. And it's hard because at the same time, she told me she loved me. And being a young kid, you hold on to any kind of love you get shown. Despite her abuse, it was very psychological because it's like, you love me, but you hurt me, but you love me again. And it was hard to know what weighed out more because I spent from my 7th birthday to just before I turned 14 with this woman. And it was hard, very hard. And I think what made it harder was my sister eventually came and lived with her. And then it was watching my sister be treated the same way. That's what really fucked me up
So you trying to protect her?
a lot of the times. But I was also stupid, didn't really know better as a kid. She also had another foster girl in her care. So about a year after I moved in, my sister came along, and then she had the three of us. And between three of us, you kind of just protected yourself if you didn't want to be hit or hurt. So it was like, no, she did it. You'd put the blame on each other because you didn't want to be the one that got hurt. And it wasn't until that I grew up a little bit that I realized that I felt shit because my sister got into trouble a lot. And it was like, what am I doing? I need to be standing up for my sister. And then I started taking blame for a lot of things and stepping in front and taking her punishment, because after a few years, it got too much to see her be hurt. Kind of made me feel like shit.
Well, it's natural. It's called self-preservation. So, and children are children. Their brains are not formed yet. They're in protection mode. You were in protection mode. It's normal. You did nothing wrong.
Yeah. But for years, that's how I felt. It hurt that I didn't realize earlier. But as a kid, you're scared. You don't want to be the one that gets hit.
Yep. What would she hit you with?
Kind of just anything she had around her, next to her, near her, on her hands. And it was a lot more than just hitting. It was being ripped around by her hair. It was being dragged through the house by her hair or clothing. She'd do all sorts. She would bite us, which is weird. Pinch us. She did all sorts of strange things. Like, it's hard to really understand where they come from.
Was there a CSO visiting you in that home?
A social worker?
Mm.
Yeah, we had a social worker come visit us every now and then.
Do you mean every now and then? How often?
I think like maybe once a month. Our social worker wasn't around a lot.
Okay. So when the social worker would arrive and they'd ask you how you are, would you tell them what was happening in the home?
And I was too scared.
What was your fear?
The threats of being told not to say anything.
So the carer would say to the three of you, don't tell the social worker what goes on behind closed doors because?
Yeah, we'd get threatened a lot and told that no one would give a fuck anyway. And we'd get death threats for opening our mouth.
Actually, what would she say?
Yeah. I'll kill you if you tell anybody. I'll kill you if you even think about telling anybody.
Did she have her own biological children?
She does, yeah. They were a lot older than us, and they weren't already gone and out of the picture.
And was she a single person?
When I first moved there, no, she wasn't. She had a husband, but he passed away.
When you were living there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And was the violence before he passed away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I first moved in, she only abused the other girl. She didn't touch me. After a few months, she started to. And then same with my sister.
And did you have bruises?
I mean, I'd say so.
And
Like, it was hard. Yes, because she wouldn't let us go to school if she knew that it was visible or something.
so you'd stay home if people would notice that you were injured?
Yeah.
Yeah. And anybody at school checking in on you? Teachers knew, but did they know that you were in the care of the state?
Yeah, the school knew.
And
I'm sure they would have.
did they check in on you?
No.
And were you in contact with your mum and dad at this point?
No. The school only started taking note of things that were going on when the other girl that lived with us, I don't know, she started being a bit. We always had food when we went to school. And I think this was kind of this girl's way for a cry of help. She would purposely go with nothing for the school to kind of take notice. And then they'd come and check me and my sister's lunch, and we had food. And they'd be like, oh, okay. But it never went as far as that.
So she
And
tried.
then, in a way, yeah. But then got home and just abused and told off for it. Yeah. So she was crying, I guess.
You stayed there until you were 14. Was there anything else in that time that you wanted to share? In that time in her care?
It was very scary once we moved to Geelong, because that's who we moved to Geelong with. We were living down in Adelaide, Port Adelaide, when I first went into this lady's care. It was scary once we moved to Geelong because we moved in with her daughter and grandson, and she was still abusive.
In front of her daughter and the grandson?
Yep. Her whole family were, they knew what she was doing to us and they didn't care.
They accepted it. Was she like that to her grandson?
No, no way. She loved her grandson.
And Geelong's in Victoria. So how was she able to move you from South Australia to Victoria with child safety?
She got approved to move us.
And your parents consented?
No, I don't think they.
Were offered the option?
Yeah, I don't think so, because we were already under 18-year orders.
Right.
So it didn't matter. I don't think it mattered at that point. She just had to have the 12-month notice to move, because I know if you want to go overstate, you have to give 12 months in advance.
Yeah. It's a very difficult process to do that. So I'm surprised she was able to.
Yeah, we went there with her and it just kind of continued.
Yeah. And so how long did you remain in her care in Geelong?
Until 2015.
And so how old were you then?
I was 13 when me and my sister came back to SA.
And how did that happen?
Our brother was living in Koutaui at the time, and we had access organised to come over and see him, because that's what we had been doing, flying back and forth to have access with our brother.
So the department would fly you and your sister home to South Australia to visit your bro?
Yeah.
And how old was he?
He's a year younger than my sister.
Yeah, so your little brother, yep.
Yeah, our little brother, yeah. So we, in 2015, just after Christmas, in January, we got flown over and it was organised for us to stay at a group home in Port Pirie. Me and my sister, while his carer drove him back and forth from Koutaui each day, because Koutaui is only like a half an hour or so drive from Port Pirie. So that was organised to do. And on the last day, on the night before we had to fly back, I just took the chance to tell a carer at the group home that we didn't want to go home. We were away from her, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to go back. And I told one carer, asked if we could talk to her privately, and told her everything. And the next day, our social worker came and said, you're not going anywhere. And that was like, wow. It was good. It was like we didn't have to go back there.
That must have been a real relief for you too. The other girl, she had to stay with her?
She wasn't. When we were living in Geelong, she ended up telling the school what happened, what was going on at home, and they kept her. I don't know what happened with her. Just one day she didn't come home.
Right, so she was removed.
Yeah.
But the two of you were not at that point?
No. And no one asked us questions or anything, which was strange.
Very strange. Very, very strange.
Yeah.
Okay, so then now you're in a group home. Would that be similar to, in Queensland, we call them residential homes?
Yep.
So,
Resi home.
Resi home. So same thing, group home is a resi home? Yeah. Yeah. And you were able to continue seeing your brother then?
Yeah. Before we get into that, when I was living in Geelong, I got given a phone. It was a very cheap little button-up $30 phone. One day I actually recorded, because I kept in contact with the other girl, because we went to the same school. She just stopped coming home one day, and she always said to me, like, oh, I'll look out for you, and this and that. And, I was kind of curious, like, how she stopped having to come home, like, what happened? And she just told the school, I think, what was going on, and I was too scared to. She knew that. But the school also didn't bother to look into it, which was a little bit questionable, because that's the second school she tried telling and warning of what was going on. And I went to her one day with a recording that I took on my phone, and it was of my sister being abused. She went and told the principal about it, and I got called up to the office and the police were there, and I was too scared to say anything. I said, no, I don't know. It just frightened me a lot. And I hate it every day that I didn't do that. I didn't just say yes.
If that situation scared you, so principal's office, police, is there another way the school could have handled that you would have shown them the video?
I don't know.
So you were fearful of your life because that's what was being said to you?
Yeah, I was so scared. I don't know, and just no one clicked on to anything because the previous school, before we moved to Geelong, like the police should have picked up on something because I was constantly running away. She kept having to make missing persons reports on me because I kept running away when we lived in Port Adelaide. So the police didn't do anything. Like, you're asking a child if they're okay in their home while their carer is sitting right there. And that's what happened all the time. So it's questionable that police didn't pick up on anything. The school didn't pick up on anything. And DCP really, because she would have had to tell them, like, I've had to report Tanisha missing or something,
Numerous times. And where would you go? When you ran, where did you go?
I had nowhere to go. I hid out at the parks around the corner, or I had a little school friend across the road. And one time, I ran away to another friend's house down the road, and like they let me in the house and whatnot. And she went there looking for me, and everyone stepped back and watched her drag me out the house. And yeah,
So this is 100% what we call falling through the cracks. I'm just thinking of all the different scenarios and all the different times somebody should have stood up for you, stood up for your sister. I am so sorry that your carer was approved. I'm so sorry that child safety didn't take care of you and your sister. Now you're in the group home. You're back in South Australia.
yeah, I'm in Port Pirie.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the group home was.
Mm-hmm. And what was it like living in Resi?
I liked it.
Yeah.
One, because the workers weren't allowed to tell you off for anything. And it was like, wow, these adults around me, like, can't touch me.
Can't hit
They're not
you,
allowed.
cannot hit you, cannot drag you, cannot pull your hair.
Yeah, no one could touch me. And that was really, really good feeling. And I kind of took it for granted. Like, I really liked it. Me and my sister started to fall down again because of that, lack of guidance that they weren't allowed to give us or couldn't give us for whatever reason.
Because they're on shift. They're coming, they're going. The rules that they have to follow are so stringent. They can't touch you. They can't tell you what to do. They can't make you do anything.
Yeah. That's when a lot of her behavioural issues started. I think it was just a lot of anger from everything she'd been through. But they didn't get her help. They just kicked her out of the group home.
What was she doing to muck up?
Getting very violent. Towards staff, towards other kids in the home. So when we first moved in, there was a 7-year-old boy there and a 15 or 16-year-old girl.
This podcast is supported by our friends at ActiveFlex, the Australian pain relieving gel designed for long-lasting relief for painful muscles and joints. Always read the label and follow the directions for use. If your symptoms persist, please seek advice from a healthcare professional. You can shop online at Chemist Warehouse or simply search ActiveFlex Gel. When they kicked her out, where did they send her?
They weren't sure where she was going to go, so she got put in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
She got put into a hotel with a one-on-one carer. And then from there, they thought she was going to have to move, but a lady from the school we were going to at the time put her hand up and said, I could take her in. I don't want the girls to be split up. And she took her in.
Was that positive?
I was really positive because I was really scared that Nikita was just going to be taken away somewhere else.
So,
And then there was the possibility of her being put into another bad home.
so now you know your sister's safe. She's in a safe home. What next for you?
For me, I stayed at the group home for a little bit longer.
Okay, so you're 14, you're in your resi. What's next for you?
I found out about this independent living program that the DCP put kids into called Muggies. That's what it was called in Port Pirie. And it was like ran through the Salvation Army. And it was, for young kids in care to learn how to live independently. And I thought, yeah, this should be a cool program. Why not? So for starters, once I hit 14, coming on to 15, they didn't want me in the group home because they said they're more suitable for younger kids, not really teenagers. So they put me into a cabin in the cabin park with a one-on-one carer. So that was to begin with. It was weird, but it was
That's
alright.
really weird. I have never heard of that. So you're a 14, almost 15, and what your CSO says to you, it's now become you're growing out of the resi home. Is it your CSO who's saying this?
Yeah, social worker, yeah.
And then they put you in a cabin park with one-on-one, essentially a resi worker?
Yeah. They were carers through, I think, what they call handicare.
Okay, so they're a carer, but they live with you
Yeah.
24/7, or are they on shift?
They were 24/7, so they slept at the cabin park but it swapped between about a handful of carers. It was so weird. It was just kind of shifts, like they'd stay a few nights and then the other carer would come along, they'd do a handover, and then the next carer would stay a few nights or a week or whatever was assigned to them. It was really strange.
It's the strangest thing I've ever heard. But that's not Muggies. No, that's Handicare.
No. Yeah. I believe it was handicare that was through.
Handicare. And you're attending school? Yep. Are you doing anything else? What are you doing?
I'm not doing anything at this point. I don't really know how to word it. While I was still in the group home, I got caught up with a boy, my ex, and at the beginning, it was good. It was cool. We just kind of saw each other at school and then, started going over to his house, and he was allowed at my cabin, but he was also really big into not being at school and wagging. So I kind of got into that. So my schooling kind of went downhill a fair bit after I met my ex.
Okay, so you're grade 8. You're not attending school. Did the carers know you weren't attending school?
Yeah.
And
They knew.
did they report that to child safety?
I think so.
Did your CSO come and visit?
Maybe. Not much that I remember. I just kind of remember the part where I met my ex and he liked to misbehave a bit, and I kind of got caught up in wagging school and that kind of stuff. And being in the group home, this is where it started, where I couldn't be touched or told off. I was like, I didn't care.
You can't do anything. You can't
Yeah.
touch me. Yep.
Yeah. And like it was nice at the time because for the first time I was somewhere where I could do what I want without being told off or make a mistake without being told off. I didn't really think too much about it. I was just like, oh, I got a boyfriend. I'm going to do what he wants to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
How long were you in the cabin for with the rotating shifters?
Up until about 15, I think. This is when they put me in that program. I got set up on my own Centrelink payments, put into a house to live alone.
Full house?
Yep, a whole 2-bedroom unit to live by myself and pay rent.
With the money Centrelink would give you. And how old are you?
Just shy of 15.
So you're still 14.
About 14 or 15.
Are they visiting you? Is your CSO visiting you?
Sometimes.
And how was that living alone?
It was shit. I was very excited to begin with because I was like, yes, my own freedom. I get to do what I want. But it actually turned out to be pretty shit and scary. I was terrified to be alone. And I didn't realize until it happened. When I got my house and started living there, that is when my relationship changed. He showed a side that wasn't nice at all.
Dangerous?
Dangerous, yeah. Abusive. No one helped. No. I was stuck. I was trapped.
Did he move in?
Yeah, he initially kind of lived there pretty much all the time, on and off. Like, our relationship wasn't the best, so we'd break up and get back together and break up and get back together. And it was a repetitive cycle with him until I was 21.
He wasn't in out-of-home care?
No, he lived with his parents. Yeah, we just met at school.
We're 15. We've got an abusive boyfriend. We're living on our own. We're paying our own bills. We're not attending school. And you're in the care of the state until 18. Yet there's no care. Do you know how much you were getting per week?
I was getting paid fortnightly. Not too sure how much money. Because I was only getting ab study at that time, like a independent rate. I think was about 500 something.
A fortnight or 500 a week?
A fortnight.
So how were you paying for your rent?
Well, the house that I was in, because it was like through Salvation Army and this independent living program.
It was cheaper.
It was cheaper, yeah.
So could you afford to live on that money?
I mean, yes and no.
Do you think that's a good program for kids?
No.
No.
I don't.
No. What would have been good for Tanisha at 15?
To be in a home with love.
A foster care home?
If that is what I had, if that's all I had could have, then yeah.
So a home with love, that is all any foster child I've ever met wants. That is all they want. To be seen, to be loved, to be cared for, to be made to feel that they are important.
Yeah, not left alone.
Not left alone. All right, what's next for you, Tanisha?
Living in my home is when a lot of issues started for me. My ex was a bit of a user, substance abuse, which got me into a lot of stuff. Not really a lot of stuff. I kind of got my hands on to drinking a lot. I was smoking a lot of marijuana. I got hooked on cigarettes, I guess. And there were times where I was also doing gear. And between living alone and being in that relationship, my life felt like shit because everyone around us labelled our relationship as domestic violence. The school, the police, DCP, all of our friends, family, but DCP didn't get me out of it. They left me there.
What do you think they should have done? What should have been done?
Like, I wouldn't even know. I shouldn't have been in that house to begin with.
No, you should not have. You still seeing your sister at that point?
Yeah. She lived with this carer for a little bit, but like this carer is beautiful. She did everything right by my sister, but because of her older age, it got a bit too much for her to handle. When Nikita started dabbling into other stuff she shouldn't have, she kind of said, like, I can't do this anymore. So Nikita was ultimately then put into a cabin herself with these rotating carers, which ultimately she then got put into, instead of the cabin, they thought a house would be better for her. So they put her in a home, in a house, but she still had carers that would come and essentially live with her. But they also rotated.
On her own again, like you?
She was, but she was then put into her own house when she was 17, I think.
And what about your brother? Were you still seeing him?
Our brother passed away in 2016. So this is when I was 15. He passed away right before I moved into my own home.
Harrowing details have emerged about a 13-year-old boy who took his own life while in the care of Families SA. An inquest has heard Zane Chilcott was desperate to speak with his mother on the night he died, but wasn't allowed to make the call.
By the time he was 13, a troubled young Zane Chilcott had been shunted to no less than 18 different homes. In October 2016, his lifeless body was found inside a family's SA residential facility. His father says his senseless death was entirely avoidable.
Parents should die before their children, all right? They took him away when he was 2 and I haven't seen him since, only in a morgue.
An inquest into his death has heard that on the night he died, a call to his mother went unanswered. He wanted to try again, but staff refused the request because it was his bedtime. It was 8:30. It was an hour and a half later when staff made the heartbreaking discovery during a routine room check. The teen had left one final message. "I don't want to be in care. I want to be with you, Mum. I always thought what it would be like if I lived with you and my sisters, always there when I wake up, and to say good morning, Mum, and good night, Mum. My Mum, it's not your fault. I did this. It's my choice. You will always be in my heart. I love you, and goodbye."
If my son would have had access to a phone to ring his mother up, I reckon this wouldn't have happened.
The inquest was told the teenager was also the victim of alleged sexual abuse by a carer. The court heard Zane was just weeks away from giving evidence against the foster carer. His family now fears the full extent of the allegations will never be known. Counsel assisting the coroner said there were significant deficiencies in the level of care provided. The department basically turned a blind eye to Zane and failed to make any inquiries about the suitability of his living environment.
At the end of this, someone has to be held accountable.
Deanna Williams, 7 News.
So when you're in the cabin?
Yep, when I was in the cabin, he passed away. And it's really shit because once I got my house, my DCP worker turned around and said, "Oh, if your brother was still here, he could have lived with you because you're in a 2-bedroom house."
The child safety officer said that to you. Were you offered counselling?
I've been doing counselling for a long time.
When did you see your brother last?
He came to Port Pirie and we were told that he is no longer living with this carer. He is being moved to Adelaide into a group home. So we had one-on-one visits with him the day, I think, before he moved down to Adelaide. It was sad because it was kind of like it was a bigger goodbye because, you know, he's not just down the road anymore. He was 3 hours away. So that last visit was really, we didn't know when we would see each other next.
And how long was he in the group home for?
I think he moved down there just before he turned 13. His birthday's in June. So he moved down just before June, I think. Because he had his 13th birthday down there. Yeah, 2 weeks after his birthday, he passed away.
Group homes are not the way.
No, they're not.
Were you able to go and say goodbye? Did you go to his service, his funeral?
His funeral was up here in Port Augusta.
So who was there? Your sister, yourself? Who else was there?
Mum, our older siblings, his whole footy team came up. Yeah, his uncles. He had a lot of family there, but it was hard because, it was really hard because we had to carry the coffin and I feel shit because I never went up and said anything at his funeral.
That is okay. That is okay. You couldn't at the time. If you could have, you would have. Don't feel guilt there. Don't do it.
It's just really, the group home messed him up.
In 2 weeks. So not only were you alone, but you'd lost your brother, you've got a DV boyfriend. You're a strong woman. I'm just trying to put myself in your position. You are a very strong woman. Unbelievable. How did you get away at 21? Did you work? What did you do?
No, I didn't work or nothing. School got so bad that they kicked me out.
At what grade?
I did year 11 and was told that I could go back the next year to repeat year 11. And on the first day I went back and they said, "You're no longer a student here."
Okay.
And
School said no. Was that
Yeah.
was that a state school?
No, don't think so.
Was it a state school? State school is you don't pay for it. The government run it, like local school.
Like a public school.
Yeah, public school.
Yeah.
Yep. So we call them state schools, but yes, public school. They should have accepted you straight away.
Because once I met my ex, school went downhill very fast for me. And a lot happened there.
And so what did you do then? How did you feel your days?
But not doing a lot. I wanted to be at school when I was first living alone, I wanted to be at school, but I wasn't allowed to be at school because of my ex. A lot of the reason my school fucked up was because of him. People say that I could have just left, but I was too scared to be alone. I held on to anything I could get, regardless how I was treated.
I get it. I get it.
The time I was 17, I started drinking. So once I turned 18, I got given a housing SA property because I wasn't allowed to stay in the one given to me by the independent living program.
Mhm.
So I got given another house. So I moved into that house. When I first moved in, me and the ex were on a breakup. I kind of had to just deal with it and be alone. Yeah, I made friends with the neighbor, but I didn't do a lot. I just stayed home a lot of the time. I didn't like leaving my house because when I lived in the previous house, it got broken into a lot and stuff. So it was hard for me to leave my house, because I didn't want my things broken or taken or whatever. Sometimes I'd go out drinking, but a lot of the time I just stayed home drinking. Yeah, and it was just on and off with my ex.
So it was a cycle. You were on a roller coaster cycle, the same one,
Yeah,
for roughly 5 years, 6 years.
yeah. Well, I met him when I was 14. So that our relationship started before I even got a house or anything.
So you were never encouraged to do a course or find a job that will get you out of the house and give life some meaning?
I tried to do these courses. I tried to do a beauty course one time shortly after, I got kicked out of school. I tried to do a beauty course, but I wasn't allowed to go. He didn't want me to. He was very jealous of I don't know what.
And then how did you get away from him?
I moved. I felt like moving was the only thing I could do.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by our friends at ActiveFlex, the Australian-made pain relief gel that helps soothe sore muscles and aching joints. For long-lasting relief, look for ActiveFlex at Chemist Warehouse or search ActiveFlex Gel online. Always read the label and follow the directions for use. If your pain persists, chat with your healthcare professional. When you moved, did you try your course again? Did you try?
Yeah.
Have you tried today? Have you tried now?
No.
Have you tried to get a job?
Yeah. I've worked several jobs since I've moved.
What kind of jobs have you worked?
When I first moved here, my first job was at KFC. So I didn't like it there. So I stopped working there. And for a little bit, I was working at a cafe here. That didn't go so great, so I had to quit there. And then up until June this year, from May last year, I was working at United Country, but I ended up quitting.
Is that a clothing store or what is that?
No, so it's a non-government organisation.
An NGO, yep.
Yeah, and they have sources to DV, homelessness.
Got it. And you didn't enjoy that?
No, because the position I was doing was a bit rough. What I did was just give out food hampers and vouchers to people that needed food and stuff. But there was a system, to come in for an appointment and tell me what's going on, why they're a little bit behind this pay or whatever. And that in itself was hard, having to hear why people were struggling, and that's a big thing as well.
You've been there. So what would you like to see yourself doing? What would you like to do? If you could wave a magic wand and do something, what is it?
I'd be somewhere very high up in DCP, changing the system, changing how it works. I'd be rewriting the whole book.
Oh, I've got goosebumps. All right, let's plan it. How are we going to get you there? You're going to have to do a social work course.
Yeah.
All right. So when we turn off our computers, you're going to get straight on yours and look up courses. That's what you're going to do. Because I know right now you take care of your little brother. You've got another little brother, and he's in your care.
Yeah.
How long has he been in your care for?
He's been since August.
And how's that going?
It's going really good. And
hang on,
no.
He's the same age as my son. How can it be going really good?
I mean, compared to a lot of things,
yeah,
it's good.
I was just joking. I know what they're like.
But yeah, when I'm moving here was the best decision I made ever. When I first moved, I held a lot of guilt because I left my sister behind in Port Pirie, but I couldn't help her without helping myself. I wouldn't be able to do what I've done for her today if I was still stuck there.
So what Tanisha's saying is she's also helped her sister in recovery. So not only is she taking care of her little brother, she has helped her sister into a recovery program. And again, you're right, you could not have done that for her without supporting yourself. And number one first, then we can take care of others around us.
Yeah. Yeah. Like moving away, I don't even know how it came about. I was just in hospital and like I had just truly given up. I didn't know what to do. And I just rang my mum and said, can I please come? I'm jumping on the bus. And I did that very night.
And did you go and live with your mum?
Yeah, I went and stayed with my mum.
And how was that?
It was good. I met some new friends here, got a bit closer to my siblings that are here, like my older brothers and my youngest brother and sister, and my nana.
They all stayed in the care of your mum?
My two youngest, brother and sister to mum, my little brother's 14, so that was 10 years later she had them, and my little sister's 11, so they come along years later. And two of my oldest brothers, they grew up with my dad. They ended up going back to dad. So they weren't in care very long. They kept us younger ones in care, like the younger three, me, Nikita, and Zane.
Yeah. And so you've got your brother. You're loving him to bits, even though he's probably being all 14 and edgy.
Yeah.
Does he
say that again?
Get the gravity of what you're doing for him?
I think so. I hope so.
He may not. And if he doesn't, that's okay, because he's where you were. He's a kid. And we know nothing at 14, right? What do we know? Nothing.
Not a lot. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to do any of what I'm doing today without my partner, to be honest.
So you've got a beautiful partner, do you?
Yeah. We've been together 4 years next month.
Bless his cotton little socks.
Yeah.
And did he come from a two-parent home or a one-parent home, or was he in out-of-home care?
No, both parents.
And he gets it? Have you told him all of the things that you've shared with me today? Have you told him these things?
Yeah, he's quite aware of everything that I've been through and, still loves me regardless. So I'm very lucky.
And he's very lucky because he's with the strongest girl I think I've ever met.
Yeah, he's done a lot for me. He got me out of my drinking addiction. Just when I first moved here, I was really still heavily drinking. We started dating, and about a year into it, he said, look, I don't know if, it was hard for him to see.
Yeah.
I was drinking a lot, and when I drink, I fall into psychosis. So I was ending up in hospital a lot because of a lot of trauma that I've been through. I can't actually handle alcohol. I'm not supposed to drink. And he pulled me up. He pulled me up and said, you know, if you keep going, we can't be together. And I didn't want to lose him, so I stopped. I settled down. And all for good reason. I don't think. I haven't gotten drunk in over a year now, nor smoked a cigarette or smoked, so. And
Have you used AA or have you done this on your own?
I did all this on my own.
The strength, the inner strength, girl.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah,
We need to get you to the top of DCP.
it'd be nice.
Do you think you would start a social work course?
I would. But so many people around me have told me that I don't even fucking need that piece of paper.
No, you do. No, you do.
Yeah.
You need that piece of paper for them to take you seriously. So yes, you've lived it. Yes, you've lived it. You know the faults. You know the crack holes. You know all of the issues that exist.
Yeah.
But you need to start here. You can't go straight here. You need to start here, and that will be with education. All right.
Yeah.
And as a mature age person, you'll be able to enter the course. So what you need to do is get online, look at the quickest way there. Some universities might be longer than others. There might be TAFE courses. So perhaps you just do some research, put it into chat GTP or PT, whatever it is. Quickest way to become a social worker. And it'll tell you the courses.
Yeah.
And you go enter it.
Yeah. I am currently doing a Cert 4 in community services.
Love that.
So that's like one thing.
Ask the AI, is that all you need to become working in the department? Because really you want a job in the department. As soon as you've got the job in the department, you can grow. So maybe that certificate can get you the job. Put that into AI and ask it.
Yeah.
When will you see your sister next?
I'm hoping to go down in another week or two.
Yes.
Go see her.
Yes.
But I've been talking to her every day on the phone, so that's good.
That is perfect. And how's she doing?
She sounding and looking so much better.
Ugh.
Like, it's crazy what 4 weeks have already done to her.
How long is she in total for?
Like, gonna be there. There's not really a date set for her to come out.
Yeah.
It's kind of just what happens. They're doing a bunch of assessments and they're also, you know, depending on those results, finding out what her needs are going to be and all of that, so they know what plans and placements they need to put in place for her.
Can I ask you a question? If you can go back in time to when you and all your siblings were removed that very first time from mum and dad, instead of removing you all, do you think that it would have been better if there was somebody to support the family to keep the kids? For instance, if the department have found that it's unsafe for the children in the home currently, instead of removing them, they offer support, an in-home care worker to take care of the kids to show mum and dad how to do it.
It's a tricky question.
So they would cook for the kids. They would clean for the kids. They would take the kids to school.
Mm-hmm.
In turn, mum and dad now see how to raise a child, however long that may be until they're 18 or whatnot. Would that be better than removing and splitting up the children?
I think it depends. It depends on what's actually going on in the home. Because
I'm not talking violence or sexual abuse, but I'm speaking to the family and mum is unable to care for the kids through mental health or through substance abuse or through alcohol or through anything she's going through, low socio perhaps, no money, no job.
Yeah.
I'm not talking physical violence or sex abuse. So obviously those children need to be removed for their safety. I'm talking about other options. What were you going to say?
Yeah, more so just like it depends. Like for me and to my knowledge, the reason we were removed is one, mum was an addict. Two, dad was abusive, and we were constantly left at home, no food. Oldest brother looking after us. Very unclean environment. Like, I was told by my nana that one time she went there to our home, no one was home, and my oldest brother was one bottle splitting between 5 other kids to feed us, a bottle at a time, and just needles, whatever else
Yeah.
in the house.
Unsafe.
Very unsafe.
Unsafe.
And it's hard because, my whole life, all I wanted was a relationship with my mum, with my dad. And I talk to them now, but it's nothing how I wanted it as a child. Now it's just kind of like you're a friend, I see here and call you mum and dad, but you don't know me. You don't know me and I'm your child.
You didn't raise me.
Yeah. I don't know you and you're my parents. And it's strange. It's really strange. And, more so mum tells me, like, yeah, all those things were happening, but you were always loved. You were never unloved. And it's like, you know, uh, of course, like, we were your kids.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like, any parent, that love doesn't go away, no matter what is going on in their life. But they were fighting their own battles and we paid the consequence.
You absolutely did. Do you think mum got the support she needed when the kids were removed? Was she offered and supported to try and get the children back?
I'm not quite sure. I do know that about a year later, I've got a photo somewhere and it's all of us. And it's obviously around Christmas because there's Christmas everywhere, decorations in the background, and it's mum and all of us siblings in this photo. And she said that was when she was in a hostel to get like rehabilitation. Yeah, so she was getting help. She decided to, like, but I think addiction is a very hard cycle to stay out of. You can be clean for a long time and still fall. And I think, I'm not quite sure what happened there, if they tried to get us back, but I do know my dad made the decision to get the boys back and keep us younger 3 in care because he knew, to his knowledge, we would get better care in care.
But that is not what happened.
No.
That is not what happened for any of the 3 of you.
Yeah.
The change needs to happen. Tanisha needs to do her course.
Yep.
Is there anything you'd like to say now to children who are listening to this episode who are in care right now, or adults who have been in care and haven't been able to integrate the trauma that they've had, specifically the kids in care now? Or is there anything you'd like to say to them?
I think don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to say something's going on. I was so afraid, and there's a lot of times I probably could have gotten myself out of what I was going through, but I was always shut down by fear. And, I think telling your story, whether or not you've already gone through it or you're going through it, you need to use your voice. We're all given a voice for a reason.
Who should they reach out to? If you're saying the principal was scary and the police was scary, who should they reach out to? Should they ring Lifeline? Should they ring Kids Helpline? Who?
It's hard to say who, and that's why these changes need to be made. Who is going to listen?
So what you're saying is they should be able to tell their CSO, their child safety officer.
Yeah, you should be able to. Every kid in care has the right to say if they're feeling safe in the home they're living in. They shouldn't be shut down by fear to not say something. And what I learned in the resi home is all of the rights that I had as a child being under government care. And those rights would have come in handy a long time ago if I hadn't known what they were. 'Cause I didn't even know. And that's when I decided to say, no, I have the right to not go back there because I have the right to be safe in my home, any home that I go and live in. For those that have already been through stuff and want to share their story, just get on your phone and share your story.
Speak up. Speak up.
Yeah, speak up. And if you like this opportunity I have right now to be sitting here is like, it's really amazing. Like my friend come across your video with, is it Molly? Yeah. And she tagged me in it and she's like, oh my gosh, you should inbox. And I did straight away. And, you know, if anything like that happens, any kind of opportunity you see, just take it. Because there's always going to be someone that is willing to listen, that wants to listen. There's so many people out here that don't like the system, and I never realised, you know.
So did you feel like you just got the shitty deal? You thought all the other kids were fine, but you got the shitty deal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I didn't know.
Most of them got the shitty deal and are still getting the shitty deal. That's why the change needs to happen. There's so much change that needs to happen.
Yeah. And I didn't know any of this until I was an adult. And I was like, wow. There's other kids that have going through or been through what I've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What would you, if you were the head of the DCP, what would you change first?
I think the whole process of finding out who can care for children.
Yep.
They need a better system. You can't just sit there, do a course and get a certificate. Anyone can do that.
Anyone can do that. Did you hear that, listeners? Anyone. That is part of my submission to the change in Queensland. There is a commission into the child safety system.
Mm-hmm.
Commission of inquiry. And that's part of one of my submissions, is that the income that is offered, and I will call it an income because as a foster carer, you work really hard. I know that I do. And I know that some of the other carers that I know do. But the problem is the people that are caring and the good ones are coming from a place of love and a place of wanting to help. But there are a lot of carers that are coming from a place of finance.
Yeah.
It's easy money. It's not easy money. And the money is so low that you don't get good families putting their hand up to become foster carers. So that's part of my submission, is to pay foster carers what they are worth, pay them properly. Do you know how many families, good families, would put their hand up and say, yeah, I'll take another kid to love. Yeah. But they don't, because they see the drama that goes on within the system. They see the $40 a day you get for it, and they say, why would I bother? Why would I bother fighting with the government over a child, you know? So that's part of what needs to change. They need to be respectful and pay foster carers, because there are so many people on this earth who would love to take care of kids.
Yeah.
So we need to access those people, and it's going to be through massive amounts of change. You're amazing, girl. You're amazing. And I want you to can you just keep messaging me like as things happen in your life? All right. So when we get off here, look at the chat GTPPT and see if the course you're currently doing will get you a role in child safety.
Okay.
All right. And if it will, beautiful, get that role. But if you need more, like a social work role, do that. Even if you do it part-time and it takes you 8 years, do it. Stay with your counselling, continue going to your counsellor.
Yeah.
You've got so much life history to integrate into your personality in I can't say positive way, but in a unhurtful way. You've got a beautiful partner. You're a beautiful carer for your own sibling. You're taking care of your sister.
Yeah.
The way that you have a relationship with mum in whatever shape or form, congratulations to that as well, because that is open-hearted of you. That is so beautiful and open-hearted. And mums and dads love their kids, no matter what they're going through.
Yeah.
They love their kids. So you keep me up to date with what you're doing.
I will. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your story today.
No, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I've been thinking about it ever since our first inbox, and I was like, wow, I'm actually getting given this chance. And it's just I just hope it can help kind of encourage other adults that have already been through the system to come forward and share what they've been through.
It's like a dirty little secret. That's what it is. People don't know. It's like this dirty little, we don't talk about it. Oh, we do. Oh, we do talk about it.
Yeah, there is plenty of people out here that do.
Kids are the most important thing on the planet. We need to take care of our children.
Mm-hmm. We do.
And you have to deal with the 14-year-old. So do I.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Thanks for listening to Once Upon a Real Life with Belle. This episode was brought to you by ActiveFlex. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a comment. And if you love this episode, go back and check out our previous conversations. There are so many stories you won't want to miss. Thanks again for listening.